When you discovered the law of attraction, you started to believe anything was possible. Life got better, much better. Now you want more, but it's not working. That's where the Manifest It Now show comes in. If you've been waiting for someone who can teach you the practical application to manifest quicker and easier while having more, turn the volume up, because the dynamic duo, Cassie Parks and Ginny Gain, are ready to teach you how to live the law of attraction like they do. It's time to laugh and learn.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Manifest It Now. I'm here with Cassie Parks.
And I'm here with Ginny Gain.
And today we're going to talk about how to become consistent in your manifesting.
This is awesome. It's so powerful. I actually woke up this morning thinking about this. Well, I guess it would happen in the middle of my scripting. I was really on this topic, right? Of course. Mm-hmm. And so I'm excited that we get to talk about it today, because this is just something that is so important if you want to become like a master manifestor, where you get everything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm excited to jump in. But first, Cass, what are you excited about?
I am excited about all this new stuff happening with Manifest It Now.
Yeah.
We just got done doing some planning and some prep of episodes that are going to come out at the beginning of the year, and it's just so much fun, and I love the way it flowed, and it just felt so good, and we're up-leveling our business in a very natural way. Mm-hmm. You're going to see us more on Instagram, and we're doing a little more, it's planning, but it's all inspired. It's not like this huge plan. It was like, oh, this will work, this will work, this will work. We'll take this picture. And so just fun to be in that space.
Yeah, it feels fun. Yeah. It was funny too, because we started to plan or outline the episode, and Cass was like, we haven't done this since our very first episode. I mean, I know we did it for a while at the beginning, but it was really funny. I was just sharing that story on another podcast, how when I remember literally sitting down to record our first episode on the purple couch and being so nervous. I'm like, oh my God, people are going to hear me talk. And what if I make a mistake? And stopped after 10 minutes to plan out what I was going to say the next time. Oh, it's a great evolution.
It is a great evolution. And this is episode 301, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. And I love this story, because I will never forget you're like, I don't think we could talk for 30 minutes. You know,
I still remember feeling that.
I don't know if we can do that. And 301 episodes times about 30 minutes later, we've done it.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome to celebrate.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's fun. And I'd for our listeners, jump in and do it. Because you can do whatever it is. Because you can always change your mind after if you don't love it, right?
Yeah.
But just, if you're feeling called, do it and see what happens, and then adjust,
Yeah, you can't get it wrong. I know this, the idea is out there that only take inspired action, but if just do, you can also take the action, and you will learn, and you'll get closer to the next inspired action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. What are you excited about?
Well, I know it was a few weeks ago, but I don't think I got to share about how amazing my Alaska trip was. And that's what feels exciting. It was just totally a trip of a lifetime, and it was awesome. There was one part where we were going up to, so my very, very favorite part was when we went to sleep at night, and it was foggy and you couldn't see anything. It was all black. And then you wake up and you look out the window, and there's freaking icebergs outside your window. The water was green. There was some mountains and icebergs. And I was just this is amazing. I would Lisa, wake up! Look at this! Yeah, it was just so beautiful. You could feel it in your body, surrounded by that beauty. And I didn't realize how, honestly, I just loved looking at the water, looking at the ocean, looking at the mountains. I sat on deck for as long as it wasn't too cold, and just looked, just watched the water.
Yes.
It was so beautiful. So that was really exciting.
That is exciting. I took, that was the first cruise I ever took, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't really want to go.
Yeah.
It was a family trip that, you know, my dad had promised his aunt, and I was like 19 or 20, and I was like, I don't want to go to Alaska. And Mom was like, well, I'm just going to buy the ticket. Whether you guys join us or not is your choice. Like, but, you know, whatever. So, of course, we went. And it just is one of my favorite experiences of all time.
Mm-hmm. And I hear that from so many people that have been there. And now anyone who says that, I'm like, put it on your bucket list. Like, if you want to do it, go.
Yes.
Definitely go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
manifest it.
Manifest it. My love saw your pictures, so I feel like we're going soon.
That's awesome. Well, I'll go to Hawaii then, and you can go to Alaska.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Should we jump into our topic?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right. Okay. How to become a consistent manifestor. And I will say this topic is inspired, and I've gotten to think a lot about it because my friend Jill Angie, which if you listen to Manifesting Success Stories, you've heard her talk about, we had to talk about consistency because, and she's really helping people become consistent exercisers, which I love. And so it just got me really thinking that is one of the places where manifestors miss out. So you can know all the things to do. You can be so smart. You can have read all the books. You know, listen to all these amazing people. But if you don't know how to consistently apply it, or you don't consistently apply it, it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Certainly not to the level it can.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what happens for a lot of people is, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, I believe in LOA, whether the first time they hear about it or the 10th time they decide to, like, yeah, this works. I know there's something here. Like, I believe in it. And they start trying to do a practice, and either they don't see results fast enough because they expect them super fast, or they don't know how to look for them. And, or, you know, they don't know if they're doing it right. And so then they stop doing it. And don't do it consistently, so they'll never build up that momentum. And then, you know, when things get bad, they start to try and manifest again. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember when we did an episode on, I think it was at the beginning of the year, about let this be the last time you start,
Yes.
you know? Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think it was actually, I want to say it was probably a year ago, in case anyone's looking, because it was sort of in the beginning of COVID, I think, because we were like, let this be the last sort of low point that you're jumping on and you're starting to manifest. Like, choose it, do it, and become a manifestor. Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you this and let this be a little bit of a jumping off point, but Cass, would you consider yourself a consistent manifestor?
This is an interesting day to ask this. Yes, in the term that I now, because I think I've shifted my definition of consistency.
Cool.
Right? So now it's, I consider consistency even like picking up to do the work. It's interesting that you asked me this today because I just completed this assignment. So if you've listened, you know that I do my own assignments. I just follow along the same as all of my clients now. And there was this assignment that I've been trying to do it since before vacation, and it required a little more time in the day, and for whatever reason it wasn't coming together for me, and I just let that be okay. This is part of being a consistent manifestor, is that I don't try and fight it when I'm like, I don't want to do that 3 times today, or which happens for me. Sometimes I don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
Like, that is a thing. Or I'm like, it's not convenient today, or it doesn't fit into my schedule today. I just wish this was like a shorter assignment, you know? And and so I'd been working, and I'm like, all right, I'll get it in. And I have a Google Doc that so it said assignment 132, like, and I would pick up and I would start it, and I wouldn't get through it. But I just kept, every day, not while I was on vacation. I put everything down. I didn't do assignments when I was on vacation. But, every day I would just open it up, and I would just do 20 minutes, even if I was like, well, maybe I'll finish this today, or maybe I won't, I would do my 20 minutes. I would open up and I would show up to do the assignment. Whether I fully complete it or not, I am consistent in showing up.
I love that. So I love that we get to choose what it means to be consistent, because obviously the belief about ourselves and creating the reality that we are consistent manifestors that's going to be a positive belief for us to have, a good identity for us to hold. And so choosing what that means for you, so that not so that it fits you, like you get to decide what it means so that you can step into that in the easiest way. So that's awesome. Right. And I totally agree. I think it's about consistency, or being a consistent manifestor is about consistently showing up. And that has a million different forms. That it's always about, to me, it is always about allowing, like activating or being willing to choose that allowing place. But depending where you're at, that can be doing nothing or doing everything.
Yes. And so by that definition, do you consider yourself a consistent manifestor?
Totally. And I will say that I hadn't in the past. Like I did have to, I used to actually define, I don't know if I've shared this, but you guys are going to laugh so much. But like, I didn't think, I'm like, I don't manifest a lot of things. Like I'm not like a manifestor,
Yeah, I get that.
I'm just like, I just love living my life, and I live full and free and happy. And that's what I've manifested. And, but obviously I have manifested everything I want so far. And so I had to really almost own that definition, but then kind of modify it. So I had to change the definition before I could own that I would consider myself a consistent manifestor, because I'm always paying attention, and I cannot not pay attention, cannot not be noticing and therefore making choices. So those choices are going to change all the time, and are different, but I'm always aware of where I'm placing energy. Absolutely. Yeah.
Aware, yes. And so a lot of being a consistent manifestor does come down to that choice. And so I want to define the difference, because I think some people, they're consistent in the thinking about manifesting, or thinking that they're choosing that stuff, but not in putting in that other energy and momentum into creation. What do you
That's
think?
really good. So that's really good to define, is manifesting isn't about thinking about manifesting. So can we give an example of this, Cass? Like, do you have an example off the top of your head?
Oh man, let me think if I can make one up. There's nothing that's like, go ahead.
Okay, so it's almost like, I know I should do this. Yes. Oh, I know I should think positive about this, or I know I should let that go, or I know I could look at this differently, or I know it's possible to manifest that. Those are like, or I know, like, it's thoughts about it, or, manifestors would do this, or they would do that. It's not actually the difference. The difference maker is actually then doing it. So it's stepping into that. So it's not, I know I should think positive about this, but it's in that moment saying, okay, what are the thoughts? What are, And so that's a very general way. I'm not saying we have to think positive about everything, but that was what came to mind.
Yeah, that was a great example, because I was having trouble, because it is a lot about, and so the clue that you might be doing this, if you're like, I know I should, I know this is the way it works, I know. So if you know a lot about manifesting, but you're not taking that step to choose to do it, activate it, be in it, you're consistently thinking about it, but you're not consistently being a manifestor.
Yeah. I think this actually comes up a lot in when we feel like our thoughts control us, and like, I can't stop thinking about this. Well, you actually can, but you have to. And yes, thoughts have momentum, and the law of attraction is going to bring you wherever you're at, but you you can get off the subject and you can go do something else. Or I was even doing this morning. I was thinking about something, and I'm telling myself exactly this, like, you know what to do. And so that's the thought, right? I know what to do. And then I'm like, this, like, right now, it's like, this moment is your most powerful moment. Just do it. And then so I did it. But that's the difference, is sometimes we just think about what we should do instead of actually doing it.
Yes.
Which, showing up, I think that's what Cass was talking about when she's like, you show up for the work and the assignments as well as showing up for the actual applying.
Yeah. And I show up, with what I know and to apply it every day, right, to every situation.
Yeah.
And with this willingness to, like, catch myself if I'm about to let myself off the hook, like, no, that's not the, like, choose what you want, or, do that. And so I think we've defined really good this sort of what it looks like to be committed every day. But how can we, I think that we build momentum by showing up on that consistent basis for what I call the work. I don't know how you define it, but I call it, like, it's doing the work. It's creating that momentum. It's laying the path for where we want to go. So we give some tips on how to be consistent in that.
Yeah, I want to just share for a second first. Yeah. I used to, like, really push against doing work. Like, even if I titled it something else, like taking action to get somewhere. And I think we can entirely create our own experience with this. But my experience has been that it's valuable to let myself put some effort in at the beginning to get the momentum going. And you can do that with joy and trust, or you can do that with resistance and I shouldn't have to do this. And if you do it that way, you're not going to get anywhere. So, like, one of the biggest shifts for me in becoming consistent was consistent in the work was stopping pushing against the fact I had to do work. And so that was just really opened a lot of doors for me. And soon as I stopped pushing there, you want to do it. Like, it's a little more effort. And I'm talking about things like scripting and meditation for me, and those kind of things. Affirmations. Yeah.
I love that you share that, because, when I started, like, doing the work, when I became consistent, it was so fun. It wasn't hard. There's moments where it gets a little harder, or life gets, or the habit, whatever. Yeah. And I've had to keep showing up. And like I said, there's some days, and I totally believe there's a bunch of reasons that are normal and actually mean you're growing when you don't want to do the work. But, just showing up, like, okay, I'm still here. And for me in my work, I'm always just like, okay, future self, I'm still here. I'm still coming. Yeah. I'm showing up for you as well as me. But I love that you said that, because I think a lot of people have that, like, this should all be easy. I shouldn't have to do any work for it. There shouldn't have to be anything. I should just be able to think about it and it should happen. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's what a big part of the LOA message is. Everything can be easy. And I think I think it can be easy, but I think we're humans and we require some training to get to the place where it does feel easy.
Well, and I think it can feel easy, just like you said, when you show up to do it with joy and trust, like, this is going to work. It's a lot easier, and it's everything else that gets to be easier, right? It's that path that's there. But even in that ease, we have to choose that. We choose it along the path when we're showing up. We have to choose that ease in order to create the ease.
That's amazing, because I think sometimes we fall into I'm doing the work, it should be easy. And just like what you just said, but we really have it's only going to be easy when you decide it's easy. Yes. That's the way law of attraction works. We decide, and then we see the evidence of who we're being. Yes. Right? So we decide this can be easy, and and gradually shift ourselves into the place where it's easier and easier, acknowledging this can be easy, this can be easy, this is easy, and then life shows you it's easy.
Yeah.
That's one of the most beautiful things about becoming consistent is it actually gets easier and easier, because like Cass said at the very beginning, consistency is the only thing that allows you to build momentum, and momentum is the most powerful force in manifesting. That's when you get to line up with the bigger things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Well, you originally mentioned about sharing some tips if you wanted to get to
I just wanted to see if we, I think one of the biggest things, the biggest reason people aren't consistent is, number one, they don't know what it means to show up. So just pick a practice, like pick 3 things that you love to do on your manifesting to-do list. Don't do 20 things, but pick 3 things and do them every day for a certain amount of time, or 5 times a week for, 13 weeks. That's 90 days. And so I think that can be really, like, choose what you're going to do beforehand, because I think part of the reason people aren't consistent is they don't know what to do, or they start doing it and then they start questioning it. And so choose consistency over questioning.
Also, that's why Cassie and I are here. Like, we have structures so you don't have to think about what you're going to do. You just show up. And for any evidence, if anyone needs evidence, I'm sure this is probably the same with you, Cass, but all my clients who show up the most consistently have the greatest changes. They have the biggest results.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they can all tell. And once they've been doing it for a while, they're like, I know when I stop doing it for whatever reason, get out of the habit, something changes and they don't change the routine. They, once they've been in for a couple of years, they're like, things start to go a different way when I get away from my assignments. And so what's really cool when you have a structure like Jenny and I is that you can just plug back in. So that consistency hurdle is easier because, you know exactly what to do. You just pick up on the next assignment or the next worksheet or the next thing that's in the course. Yeah.
That's awesome. I just had someone in my tribe who took she still stayed in but wasn't showing up, and then she just re-engaged, and she's like, oh, this is so great, to just jump back in like this and it all be there.
Yes. And so, if you feel called to join one of our programs, that's awesome. If not, pick 3 things so that your brain doesn't get in the way of I need to jump back in. What do? I need to do 100 things. No, choose ahead of time what you're going to do and choose that consistency to do it. And commit to that instead of changing it up all the time. That's part of being consistent is knowing what to do when you show up. So it's easy when you have a program. That's the easiest path. But if that's not calling to you, choose your own things that you're going to do and consistently do them.
Make it easy for yourself to show up.
Yes.
And then keep showing up. So whatever that means to you, you decide what that means, and just a little bit every day. And so you can start to be in that beingness of showing up, I'm a consistent manifestor, and start to step into that. And it will as soon as you start to own that, you will be called to it more and more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
Anything else, Cass?
Just to make sure reminder to keep track of your evidence, because that's what helps you see that it's shifting and changing. And that is what also contributes to consistency, is that we know, something's happening, so we keep doing it.
Yes. Yes. So we have, totally. And you're going to feel better. Make sure to include that in your evidence. It's it's feeling great to do this. I'm feeling, lighter, or whatever that might be.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye. Hi, it's Cassie. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Manifest It Now. I hope you're ready to go out and be extra awesome. If you're looking for more resources, support, ways to engage with LOA, or shift your money mindset, you can go to CassieParks.com. That's CassieParks.com and click on complimentary, like cocktails, coaching. Go to CassieParks.com and click on complimentary coaching for more in-depth into LOA, how to shift your money mindset, how to identify your money story, and even more to help you go be even more awesome. CassieParks.com, complimentary coaching.
Go be awesome! Thank you for joining us on the Manifest It Now show, where you learn how to leverage the law of attraction to manifest your dreams. Now that you're inspired, share the love and review us on iTunes. While you're there, remember to subscribe.